I am so pleased to be here.
Mm.
This session is School Wellness Committee's 101, and I am the Associate Director for the Healthy Schools and Communities Program for the Alliance for a Healthier Generation. I have been with Healthier Generation for going on 13 years now, and it has been a pleasure. And what's so great about my job is that I get to work with wonderful schools and districts across the country. And for going on 3 years now, I am a part of Louisiana Healthy Schools program. We are one of the partners in this endeavor with the Department of Education and the Department of Health and well ahead for Louisiana schools. So it's a pleasure to be here. So to get things started, and please use your chat box, and Stuart, if you could monitor that for me. But what brought a smile to your face this week? And I do this because we need to connect, and so this is a great way to do that. And this is a picture of my oldest nephew holding his young son, and he came by this week, and he walks and runs. He just comes and hugs. So in the midst of all that is going on, I had a reason to smile, and it was just so great to see him. And let's look in the chat and see what other people are saying that brought a smile to your face this week.
Donna, we got a handful of responses. People are saying family. Um, People are enjoying working with their family in the garden. They got visits from their sisters, daughters, babysitting their grandchildren, all kinds of wonderful things.
Wonderful, wonderful. And I saw something about the custodian's voice. So curious what that is, but I'm so happy that it happened for you. Thank you all. There is still so much to be grateful for. So at the Alliance for Healthier Generation, we're on a mission to empower kids to develop lifelong healthy habits by ensuring the environments that surround them support their physical, social, and emotional health. And one of those environments is a school environment, and really their teachers. At Healthier, Genera- at Healthier Generation, we believe that to really do this work meaningfully and authentically, if you will, is we need to focus on the adults surrounding the kids. So to us, our mission includes ensuring that educators are surrounded by environments that support physical, social, and emotional health. So our objectives today is to detail steps to create a healthy school environment, to define the role of a diverse representative team, and to share tools and resources that you can use and take to create that healthier environment. So here's just a brief outline of the steps needed. You need to start with vision, the structure, the data that forces your work, and to take action. So a vision, you need a vision because of how do you know where you are going? What are your goals? You need to have a vision in the back of your mind about well, this is what we want to accomplish. This is why we need to accomplish this. And sometimes your vision is directed to you by the district. Sometimes your vision is directed to you by your principal. But in order to get any process started, you always need a vision. What you see on the screen are 5 factors in the state of children's health today. And this can be used to help create your vision, why you need to have a healthy school team or a school wellness council on your campus, or in your district. And when you see these facts, you know that this work is more important than ever. And the fact that we are now dealing with a pandemic on top of that, keeping children and being healthy and keeping our work children focused and children centered is more important than ever. So, what's in it for kids? And when kids are physically active and healthy, they perform better academically, have better attendance, and their behavior improves. And with so many competing programs, how can you make the case for having a team with so many competing goals and so many priorities? Because this is why. When kids are physically active and healthy, they perform better academically, have better attendance, and their behavior improves. And the same goes for their educators. When they are physically active and healthy, they perform better, have better attendance, and their behavior improves. So if you could use the chat box once again and share why children's health is important to you.
Donna, our responses are starting to come in. We've got one from Emily who says that children are our future. Jessica Craven says overall success and wellness. Danielle Sherrill says that she's a school nurse and she wants all children as healthy as possible to live their best lives. We got a handful of other responses as well. And it seems to be that the overarching theme is that kids are our future, and that's why it's important.
Exactly. And it goes back to the things that made you smile. A lot of you put your children, someone coming to visit. So we know that this is so important. And it's important to all of us. So and this is just a thought question. But if you could take away barriers, what would your healthy school or district look like? Are staff or others involved? What outcomes do you want to see? And you can, if you have an answer, if you could take away any barrier, what your healthy school might look like, you can put that in the chat box, and Stuart will share as we go on if we get any answers. But if you could remove all barriers, what would that healthy environment look like? So you've set a vision. Now you need to create a policy, and your policy will help with how this will be regulated, how this can be defined, who needs to be involved, how do we know if we're successful. According to the USDA, all LEAs must establish a policy that promotes students' health, that promotes students' well-being, and promotes students' ability to learn. So once you have your vision and you use your policy, it must accomplish these three things. And a policy also keeps you accountable. You now have in black and white, or whatever color your paper might be and whatever color your ink might be, you have in front of you the rules and regulations, the mandates, your statutes that you are going to follow, that you must use in order to create that wellness policy. And the school wellness policy can help you determine your wellness needs. And to create that policy, there are lots of people involved in that process. And to change a policy, to amend that policy, you usually go through the school board as in your district authorities to make sure that that change can occur. But the group that usually has control of the wellness policy, who helps implement that, is usually your head administration at your school. And then there are district administrators as well. And Stuart, did you want to share any of um, the pie in the sky, if there were no barriers, answers in the chat box?
Yes, ma'am. Pie in the sky things would be, let's see. I'm scrolling through to see if I can find a few good ones.
Great.
Dr. Shannon Chasson, I think is how I pronounce that last name. She says child-centered, where nutrition and health were on an equal level with curriculum. Pat Ferris, who's one of our later presenters today, says healthy habits can make your quality of life better overall. Let's do one more. From Ramona Landry, she says, children are God's precious gift and they are such a dynamic part of our future. Their well-being is so important to all of us.
Thank you guys so much. Healthier Generation has an improvement process as well, a continuous improvement process called our 6-step process. And as you can see on the screen, we start with building support, assessment, um, creating an action plan, explore resources, take action, and celebrating success. And so we're going to use this model to move us through creating that school wellness team. So the first step you saw was your wellness team. So is this you? And I think the box that says insert the rest of your life here is bigger because it is the biggest thing. But we are balancing our professional work and our professional work. So and then in everything, we're pulled in all different directions. And the Harvard researcher Ross Green has a phrase: kids do well if they can. And I'm expanding on that to say people do well when they can. And when we juggle all of this, whether you volunteered to be on your school wellness group, or you were voluntold, as we like to say, or asked to do the job, there is so much on your plate. And so that's why it's important to have a team. And the foundation or infrastructure of any great organization or concept is a dedicated group of individuals who work together to find solutions, create opportunities, and help others. And there are both district and school level wellness committee who work together to make sure your goals are met and guidelines are followed. We have a poll. And Stuart, there you go. So if you could let us know, does your school already have a wellness team? And if you are a district representative, you can answer that question as well. If you have a district wellness team.
Donna, it looks like currently we've got 70% say yes and 30% say no.
Wow. So that's good. Thank you. So you guys can take over from here on out. But I'll keep plugging away. Thank you. So one of the things I like to say, if there's not a team, is there already a group formed that is doing similar leadership work? So so don't reinvent the wheel. If there is an existing group, try to if the missions and vision coincide, then use that group to work on wellness. But if not, form a team. And this is one of the outstanding citizens of Memphis, Tennessee. His name is A.C. Wharton. That's his real name. And he is the former mayor in Shelby County and the city of Memphis. And Memphis is the county seat for Shelby County. And I use him as an example because he has always been nicknamed Form a Committee. So he is a committee warden. So, but what he's saying is we're going to put people to work. We're going to put people on the job. We're going to put people who have similar visions, have similar missions to do this work. And so if you have to form a committee, he's your man. But what are the responsibilities of your team to implement and be compliant with wellness policies, with your district policies, to communicate progress and challenges, to disseminate resources and share success, and to have goal achievement and the reporting of those goals. And Sean did such a great job talking about the WISC model, but we are all familiar with it. And once again, it is child-centered, child-focused. And with that in mind, those people who are surrounding that child are the possible team members. You want your team to be diverse and representative. So here are for your school wellness team and even for your district team, but more than likely for your school team, these could be your possible members. Administration, school nutrition, school nurses. Yay, we got those here today. A PE teacher, the parents, the students, community members, school resource officers. Who else? And you can say that in the chat box. Who else are other members of your team that might not be listed here? I will tell you a group that's not listed here that might be important are your environmental staff, because they have a role of making sure the school is clean. So and healthy and safe for everyone. They could be good another good member. Why do you think we need students on the team? So you can use your chat box for that as well. School counselors, great. Your PBIS team, wonderful. The dean of students, and Audrey says to have buy-in from the ones who are trying to change their behaviors. Excellent. Also, students are leaders. So if they can emulate the healthy behaviors that you are trying to promote, then other students will fall in line. And also students are great helpers. So one of the very first school wellness council meetings I went to, and this was when I first started a Healthier Generation. So this was a long, long, long time ago. But I went to the school wellness meeting and it was full of people and most of them were students. And what was so great was the students were volunteering to help teachers. They were doing a big healthy week. And so they created billboards. And so the students helped do that. The students did announcements in the morning. So they did healthy announcements, healthy wellness tips during that week. So the students were talking to the cafeteria staff. They did taste tests to see what was good, the foods that they liked, or if it was a healthy component, which we know, but they were able to test it first. So this was a pledge of honor for them to be a part of the council. And then their parents who will take this information and bring that kind of same work home. You need buy-in from all of these people. And I see the chat box going. Anything to share in the chat box? Stuart. So your team should be diverse. It should be representative of your school community. It should make sure that representative of the community organizations that might want to support your team. It should not be monolithic because that's not how your school or your community are. So you definitely want to make sure that it is representative and it represents what the school looks like. It creates buy-in. So your team needs to buy into your vision and believe into your vision and want to do the work. They have a mission. They advise and advocate. They advocate for wellness. They advocate for whatever projects or programs they would like to do. They take action. So it's not just a think tank. They do what they need to do in order to get things done. And they support priorities. A lot of times priorities are given to schools based on the whatever the district says is a priority, whatever the principal might say is a priority, but also what they themselves find out are the priorities. What are the needs of the schools? So you need to support your priorities. So now that we've identified the who that should be on the team, let's talk about how do we get those people to join us? We never want to be an island to ourselves. So here are a few engagement strategies. And then, like I mentioned before, look and see about your existing councils, any existing committees, or any existing groups um, that you might be able to join. Be clear about roles and expectations. And I can't state this enough. Be clear about roles and expectations. This is where your vision comes to mind. We have a vision of creating a healthy school. These are some of the projects we think we would like to do. We would like you to serve on this committee. We meet 4 times a year. We meet for an hour. In between our meetings, we do conference calls with different subcommittees. So these are the roles and expectations. If there are any roles, as in, I will be taking notes. So Donna is our note taker. Jack is our treasurer if we have funds that we need to raise, et cetera, et cetera. Be clear about roles and expectations. Jan from the district takes our meeting notes and will submit those to the district wellness council. Be clear about roles and expectations. Promote the meeting dates and times in advance. And we're in the age of we're all virtual. We're all sitting at our desks. So use that to our advantage. Use emails. Um, use social media. If this is an event that the public can be invited to attend, use social medias, electronic letters and flyers. Post them on your school board, on your schools. Use your TV stations to promote your upcoming meetings. Share your vision and reinforce the support that you have received. So your district and your administrators, these people are there to support you. So make sure you share that with when you are recruiting, that we do have district support, we have administrative support, and they reinforce the importance of this work for all. And just keep remembering that child. We are doing this for that child in the middle. We are doing this for our teachers so that they can be um, better in their wellness approach. That's why we're doing this. So planning a meeting. So you got your people together. They said yes. Some of them were dragged into it. So, but now you have to produce. So you now have to have a meeting. So always have an agenda. Define your vision and mission once again. Be consistent in decision making. If this is the way we're going to make a decision, then that's what we will do. At Healthier Generation, we always do levels of agreement. So a 4 is we fully agree to this and we like it. A 1 is I do not agree at all and I cannot support this. You will not move me. Create an action plan to stay focused, and you can use an action plan as your agenda for the next meeting. Celebrate successes, small, big, whatever the success may be. So and so donated an item for one of the projects you want to do. Celebrate that success. Give all a chance to be heard and participate. Remember, we want diverse voices. Learn to how to team members step in and step out so that others feel comfortable. A good leader might recognize that someone hadn't said anything and would say like, Sean, did you have anything to contribute? Any thoughts, any feedback? So just make sure everyone has an opportunity to be heard. Match the partner's participation to your team's goals. So if you have, you're recruiting community members especially. And so when you're looking to what kind of community partners do we need to have, you always need the Department of Health. You definitely need hospitals. What about your YMCAs? What about the group who does we have a big group that does community gardens here. So the Big Green. So those are great groups to get involved. Any type of community group who offers after school care. Those are the people. So make sure that you are matching their participation to your team's goals. Um, I tell you another group, retailers. They have the opportunity, they love to do community work. They might have items that they could donate to you for some of your, as prizes for some of your, if you're doing a walk run or something like that. So there are lots of people who have resources that you might not realize, but who also would like to be a part of this effort. Plan for sustainability. And if COVID has taught us nothing else, things change and you have to be ready. So make sure that there is a plan of succession. If I'm the chair this year of our wellness group, but I might move to another school or another district. Some people might retire. So make sure you keep that plan of sustainability in going, and that also means your records. Make sure they are accessible to the next team that comes forward. Share your successes, challenges, and lessons learned. There is nothing like whenever that new team comes in to find out, oh, let's do this. I like that walk. Let's do this a walk. Let's do that walk. But if they didn't read the fine print that, well, these are the factors we encountered in doing our walk, then they might make a mistake and do the same thing or something like that. So definitely keep accurate records. And remember, the focus is on our children. We need to grow. We need to have progress. So sharing those successes, challenges, and lessons keeps you going in the right direction and keeps you moving for our children. So now we have virtual meetings. And this is a virtual meeting, and this has been done very, very well. But is this here just a few tips? Select a time suitable for everyone. And I know with school staff, that's kind of impossible because there's so much going on, but you can make it work. You can send out a survey before the meeting to find out what is the time that works best. And you might not get 100%, but you can always say, we are choosing the time that most people can attend. Always test your equipment. I was on a call the other night and all of a sudden my internet messed up and I was like distorted. You couldn't hear me. So and so we said we need a backup. So there was someone else saying, okay, I can take over. So definitely test your equipment. For us at Healthy Generation, when we hold meetings, we always have our camera on. So establish camera on off rules. Are our cameras on? Are they off? And sometimes you won't have the capability to even have your camera on or off. But just make sure that that is communicated because you don't want people in your meeting who are not prepared. So making sure that if the camera is on or off. Allow time to connect. And we just did a very quick one earlier today, but one of the things in this virtual environment, and it was one of the strengths that Sean shared was that need to check on others. We do that very, very, very well. And that's definitely a positive I'm going to take away from COVID is that I've talked to people I hadn't talked to in years. We have a family Zoom meeting every week. And so that's our way to connect. And then we get down to news and updates, but we always ask how you're doing. So there are lots of quick icebreakers that you can do to help set your tone. Send the agenda ahead of time if you can. So once again, people are prepared. And to keep it interactive, use a chat box, polls, and breakout rooms whenever you can. If there's a topic, for instance, if one group is working on a walk and another group is working on our assessment, then they can be in breakout rooms doing that at the same time. So here's a cute little poll. So, and this is a cute little icebreaker. This is our checking in. So which Norman Corgi matches how you feel today? Verna said 5. 5 has a smile on his face.
It's looking like our first place is number 5, and our close second is number 6.
Okay, I can't see the results, Sean. Stuart. Okay, thank you. Very nice. Thank you, guys. So when we send this out, you'll have this slide, so you can you can use it however you like. So setting your team goals. So now you have your team, you're having your meeting. So you need to have data to set your goals. And data is the engine that drives the car, that drives this group going together. We talked a little bit about your policy. That policy are mandates that are already created for you. There's an assessment that I'll share in a minute, but nothing replaces also your observations. What are the results that you've seen? What are you hearing from others? So the available tools that for your assessment, and you can do these as a team. The Healthy Schools Assessment on our website, your wellness policy can help you assess whatever your grant requirements or whatever your district requires you to use. The School Health Index from the CDC. ASCD has an assessment tool, but observations and feedback, those are great ways to determine your needs. On Healthy Generation, we have several sets of assessments. There is a brand new one called the Quick Start Health Assessment, and it was created to coincide with what is happening with COVID. And these are some of the questions as a school or even a district can answer, and there are only about 12 or 15 questions to see what do we need to do to get started healthy? What do we need to do to have a healthy school for this school year? And then there's a report on that. Then our granddaddy of our assessments is our Healthy Schools. And this is the one that has been that we have used, and we base it on national and other best practices that cover most of what you see on the WISC model. So you will have policy, you will have health education, physical education, you will have school and staff wellness, you will have nutrition on here, you will have you will have other issues related to smart snacks. So that's our granddaddy of our assessment. And once again, it can be done online, and you can do it as a team. And then another one that we have that is about a year old now is our RISE index. And our RISE index is our resiliency in school environments. This is our social and emotional learning project, and great support from Kaiser on this project. But the RISE index, it can be done at the district or school level to find out what are your needs for students and especially staff when it comes to social and emotional learning. What policies do we need to have in place to make sure that all are mentally and emotionally well? And this is a great tool, the RISE index. When I saw the PBIS and the counselor, this is the assessment that really does bring that counseling group, that entire wellness group into the forefront. So I encourage you to go on our website at any time, create an account, and you will be able to do any of these assessments. And it will let you know along the way as you answer your questions, the areas that you are doing well and the areas that you might want to consider for improvement. So this is an example of what, as you answer the question, you will see this is from our granddaddy of an assessment, the Healthy Schools Assessment. And you can see in policy and environment, for instance, this school, the dark brown, kind of orange means the areas that you are doing well. And the areas that you are not doing well, you see are the white colors. And for instance, this school, might need to work on employee wellness. So that leads us straight into action planning. So you have an idea, you've looked at your assessment. Now let's make a plan, and now let's go into action. So before you choose your plan, think about the importance of it. How is this important to our healthy school environment? Is it feasible? Are there enough resources available? What about the reach and strength? How many people will be impacted by this change? The strength is, and how will this change impact behavior or cultural changes? And then sustainability. How can something take hold in the short term and last beyond initial implementation? So I'll quickly go through a scenario on importance and in feasibility, reach and strength, and sustainability. So using an example of walk to school, a walking school bus. And we found that on our school campus, a lot of students are walking to school, but we don't have enough guards and patrol people in place. So this is important because if most of your students are walking, you need to have safety guidelines in place. Are there resources available to make this a reality? This is a great place where you can go to your school team, your wellness team. Do we have enough in place? Are there volunteers who can serve on the patrol route? Do we need to involve the city or the county to make sure that the students are safe? Reach and strength. How many people this change will occur? So if most of your students are walking, so most of your students will be affected if you can make it safe. And how will this impact behavior or cultural changes? Well, it would impact behavior a lot because now parents will feel better about sending their students to class, sending their children to class. Children will arrive safely, and they might arrive with a smile on their face, depending on who that patrol person might be. And it will lead to a cultural shift in your school campus. They could arrive on time. And then this is something that anyone can implement from now on. So the action plan is a blueprint or to-do list, and then it guides the district and your school leadership on the work that you can do, and it can be updated at any time. So we have our plan, we're going to put it into action. And I would like to ask for you to once again to go into the chat box and share a successful or not so successful wellness activity. And just list just one factor that made it successful or not successful. And this is part of that last step, assess and share results. So Katie said she sent an email to our awareness committee and only 1 of 10 people replied. And so and I can understand why you didn't think that was a success. So what can you do to talk to those other, to get those other 9 people? And I think I just gave you an example. So maybe people don't reach out to email. Not everybody reads their email, you know. So you might, if they're all in the same place, you might want to give them a call. If they're all in the same school, you might, if you're in school, you might want to drop by. And Katie just said, call them personally. Yes. Sorry, the male people are outside, so I hope you didn't hear that. These are great. And some people are already addressing different health issues. The town where we are located has limited sidewalk and shoulders for students to walk safely to school. And that's where you need people power, Tanya. And that would be a great example of who's on your team to contact the city and contact the county, or have enough people to safely guide students when they're walking on highways or small roads so that they do feel success. And it is difficult to have staff and community to follow through, but you have to have a reason for them to want to get involved. And so I'm going to share that a little bit next. So tying it all together, we have our action, and some have been successful, some have not, but we can learn from all of that. So you build your wellness team, support and create a wellness vision, assess your wellness efforts, and walk the talk yourself. But also in that is show appreciation. So for whatever people do, let them know that you appreciate what they do, that you value whatever they can contribute. And that might help people know that, well, you know, I enjoyed that because I felt like I was a part of this. I had something to do. And appreciation can take all types of forms. A handshake, a slap on the back, written acknowledgement. Some people like to see it written in the sky, but whatever you can do to show appreciation. Always report to your administrator. So whenever there's a full staff meeting, your wellness team needs to be at that table, and you can share your results. And that is a great way to say, well, Coach so-and-so helped us do this. So this is another way to show appreciation and acknowledge other people's contributions to what you do. And if that keeps occurring, people might want to participate. Everybody is busy. Everyone is at their limit, which we all understand. But we also know we have to do this. We have to keep moving forward. So here are a few resources that you can find on our website. It's the Healthier Generations Leaders Guide. And I will share links with you to some of these resources. We have a great section under policy and environment about school wellness committees and how they relate to the school wellness policy. Louisiana, I'm part of the Louisiana Healthy Schools, and they have a guidebook that they have made available. So it's a great resource. We have our own School Wellness Committee toolkit, and I have a link for that for you. And we have some training videos that are helpful as well. So I will pause and leave the floor open for any questions.
Hey Donna, this is Emily. Can you hear me?
Hi.
I did see one question in the chat from Ms. Bloom about how do coordinators find time in the day for meetings?
That is a great question. And like I said, it's very difficult. Your meetings don't have to be long, especially if you have your agenda and you have your plan in front of you. Do you have 15 to 30 minutes? Do you, can we meet after school for 15 or 20 minutes to go over this project? Can you do a coffee class? If you can't meet in person, can you have everyone bring their healthy snack to the meeting with them? So while they are taking a break and having a snack, you guys can meet. You can make it fun. So if you offer something fun that we're gonna share a recipe, or you can show pictures of your pets, you know, something like that. People are like, oh, well, I might like to join that committee. I might be able to do that. So they don't have to be long. Work around planning periods. If there is an established school staff meeting, maybe meet 10 minutes before or 10 minutes after that staff meeting, because you know everyone will be there. Your community partners, the same way, especially if they are all virtual, it'll be a similar situation. So see if there's a time that's best for everyone and then hold it there.
Stewart, do we have any other questions in the chat box?
We've got a few people asking for follow-up information, maybe some links to Donna's website. Donna, do you have resources that you'd be able to share with people?
I sure do. Be happy to. Well, if not, I thank you and I've enjoyed it. And I want to learn as much as I like to share. So at any time, just reach out to me and excuse me, that's my information. Thank you and enjoy the rest of your day.
And thank you so much, Ms. Donna. I know that we weren't able to share your full bio, but I do want to highlight that Ms. Donna has guided nearly 400 schools and their stakeholders through the process of creating and sustaining a healthier environment. And so she is a fantastic resource for our state, and we're so grateful to have her. And she's got a wonderful grandchild, so she's a wonderful person.